Today was another one of those examples where I didn't really want to talk, so I'm going to do a little voiceover today. Also, you may have noticed that I rearranged just a little bit. I enjoy rearranging. Rearranging is one of those things that just makes you feel good. And if you're hearing weird noises in the background, that would be Boris with his toy. So today's soap is themed with I Love Lucy. I made heart embeds with this mold. First mistake was I did not make enough. So there weren't enough, but I still made the soap anyway. I colored the hearts with just rose clay, and then I coated the hearts with activated charcoal, like I do. And I fragranced this Lucy soap with juicy apricot. I didn't want to do Love Spell because Love Spell is really popular right now during the Valentine's season. And it's not that anything's wrong with that, I just don't want to do Love Spell because everybody does Love Spell. And the thing that I don't want to be is everybody else. And then I also colored it with some red mica. It's actually firecracker red mica. And then I sprinkled the top of the soap with some candy hearts. Here we've got our fragrance as well as kaolin clay and sugar. Lye water. So I chose to make an I Love Lucy soap because I had this heart mold. Back when we did a soap collaboration about our favorite TV shows and I chose to do Columbo. If I hadn't done Columbo, I would have done I Love Lucy. Here's our firecracker red mica, dispersed in some oil from the batch. It is not extra oil. I've enjoyed the show I Love Lucy since I was very young. And I, as usual, did not plan my design, so I thought, well, I'll just pour in all this red batter into my uncolored batter. And I was hoping the whole time to not end up making the raw meat soap that so many of us accidentally make with the red and the white. And I Love Lucy used to play on Nick at Night, which I believe doesn't exist anymore. I think it was like by 6 p.m. on Nickelodeon, there was Nick at Night, and it played all the old classics. What a good idea. Trying to introduce the young people to some classic television. And I was hoping to get at least 2 full bars of soap with the hearts in them, and I'm hoping for 6 full bars of hearts. We'll see how successful I am here soon. I was just going to share a few little tidbits about I Love Lucy. I remember one New Year's, I don't know, I was probably 13 or 14 years old. There was an I Love Lucy marathon on Nick at Night, and I stayed up all night recording onto VHS tapes I Love Lucy episodes. Long, long ago, in the young years of my husband and I's relationship, my husband got for me for Christmas the complete I Love Lucy collection on DVD, which was a wonderful, thoughtful gift. He knew how much I enjoyed the show I Love Lucy. So I Love Lucy is an American television sitcom. It originally aired on CBS on October 15th, 1951, and its final episode was on May 6th, 1957. And attempting to clean up the sides so that we can pretty up the top just a little bit. There were 180 half-hour episodes over 6 seasons. The show starred Lucille Ball, playing Lucy, and Lucille's husband, Desi Arnaz, playing Ricky. And then their neighbors were played by Vivian Vance, who played Ethel, and William Frawley, who played Fred. The series followed the life of Lucy Ricardo, who is a middle-class housewife living in New York City. She often came up with crazy plans and schemes and ideas to solve a problem or get ahead, or mostly she really wanted to get into show business, and her husband was a nightclub performer. And this was actually a last-minute decision to add these candy hearts on top. But Lucy was always trying to mingle with and be a part of show business. And Ricky kept trying to keep her out of it because she really didn't have much talent. I Love Lucy was the first scripted television program to be shot on 35mm film in front of a studio audience. So there was no laugh track. There was no fake laughter. Anytime you heard laughing in the background, those were real people watching the show from behind the camera. Sadly, one of the biggest reasons that I Love Lucy ended was because the marriage of Lucille and Desi was crumbling. They were both the creators and the stars of the show, and so it really had a heavy strain on the production of it. Which, even if you're a great actor, it can still be really hard to hide something like that. So the chemistry between the two near the end was getting really rough. which made it a very difficult thing for everybody acting with them and for trying to be convincing that these two love each other on the show. So I'm slicing and slicing these slim bars because I'm trying to get as much heart as possible in a full bar. So every one of these pieces of cheese-sized slices are going to be cut in half and turned into sample sizes. And here we go with our first full bar. And of course, I end up cutting it right where the two hearts are attached to each other. So I gotta clean that up. All you gotta do is bevel it off. Very easy. It's just disappointing. And I'm gonna have to bevel this one to hide that I'm at the edge of the heart again. So now we're gonna slice it again into these small pieces. So I have several sample slices for this batch, which is nice. Something that surprised me about selling soap is that samples sell better than full bars, which is wild, but it's true. And once again, with this full bar, I ended up cutting it right down the side that was the heart, where it was attached to the other heart. Frustrating. Well, there's a nice clean cut there. And here we have a heart soap that only has a heart on one side. Whoa, did you see? These little candy hearts are shooting all over the place. And here we are again to another full heart. Let's see if we cut it right down where they're attached. Yep. So the next time that I make a soap with these hearts, I know to not set my measurements at an inch thick soap. It needs to be a little bit bigger because every time I was cutting it down that center. And this is my first time doing any kind of carving with my soaps. I did a few soaps before recording, so I already knew kind of what I was doing at this point, but I'd never done this before, and I sure got a neck ache doing it. And I think that this would work better if the soaps were cured just a little bit longer, maybe one more day, because there's so much soap pieces coming off. You see when I'm writing here? I'm attempting to make it look similar to the I Love Lucy logo that cursives along the screen at the beginning of the show. Alright, now that I'm done carving this piece, I've got some soap dough here that I made who knows when, long ago. And all you do is smash it into those carvings that you made. So really you could do practically any picture you wanted if you had the patience for it. You could write any word you wanted, any name, which is exciting. So I'm thinking of some ideas for the future for carving and filling in. This was a fun project, and I did learn a lot, and I failed a lot. I wasn't totally happy with the final result at all, but it's a really nice bar of soap in the end. It just doesn't look as nice as I was wanting it to look, which isn't that typical for all of us, for creators in general. And here you just take an old credit card or something that's stiff and flat that you can scrape with, and you just scrape off all the excess soap dough. You've got a nice imprinted looking cursive writing here. Well, I'm satisfied enough with how it turned out. There's like 3 bars that I really like that I'm pleased with. It's a pheasant. Here, Boris. Come here. The people want to see you. Here's Boris. Look at how big. Look at how big. He's 20 pounds now. Maybe more. Yeah. Alright. Ready? Go get it. There are about 3 bars that I'm happy with what they look like. I learned a lot when it came to the carving and filling in. And it's a really cool effect. And I'm thinking about making personalized soaps with names in them. And then we got our candy hearts top and our side stamp. I really like the outline that activated charcoal gives fragrance is very good. It's pretty light, so I might add a little bit extra next time I use Juicy Apricot. It's a very light, fruity smell. I didn't get as many sellable bars as I wanted to out of this. I got a lot of samples though, as you saw, and I cut every one of those samples in half because that's the size my samples are. Anyway, we'll see you next time for another unknown soap that we'll figure out soon.